Speaking to Mark Hayes ahead of the ELOI season in 2026. Mark, it's obviously gone through a lot of changes in its first few seasons, but there's actually even a new organisation running it. Do you want to just tell us a little bit about the competition ahead of the land finals this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely, Ronan. So Wild came in this year and took over the competition, um, which for me, I suppose, was a big factor in coming back and giving it another stab. I know the guys down there, and they really do want to put an emphasis on change, which is really good for all the players. So the competition this year, different from the last couple of years, they actually done like open qualifiers and stuff like that, which was great, trying to get new people on board, which is what we want. I was lucky enough now to be one of the invited players. Definitely wasn't on last year's performance anyway, but I must have some standing somewhere. But yeah, they had an under 18 qualifier and then an open qualifier because I suppose, like myself now getting on the older end of the scale, we want younger people coming through and things like that and finding new talent. So they changed it up this year, and it was really, really good. The group stages ran similar enough to the last couple of years, 4 groups of 5, but they changed the qualifying structure. So the top player in each group went through, and then second, third, and fourth went into a playoff bracket a couple of days after the groups. So it gave people a bit more incentive, to kind of keep going and try and finish as high as they can, knowing that they'll have another stab on it on the other day. So yeah, it was a really positive change this year.
Super. And how did the group go for you?
Yeah, the first day I suppose it was run kind of in a real short schedule, which actually suited me down to the ground. We had a Wednesday night, a Thursday night, and then the Saturday evening playoff. Then first night now was a little bit sluggish. It was 1-2 and lost 2. My brother beat me representing Waterford, which was a kick in the teeth, all right. But we got the revenge then the second night, and we finished second in the group, which was great because we got a bye in the first round of the playoffs. So I was able to kind of sit back and watch two potential opponents, and got over the line in the playoff final. Then had a really tricky game against Duffy representing Finn Harps. I know Duffy really well, so it was kind of bittersweet ending his tournament. But yeah, just went overall really, really well, and delighted to be back in the top 8 this year.
Yeah, so obviously the land finals then are coming up this weekend in Cork. Just for people who maybe aren't familiar with the ELOI, obviously you will know all of these players very well. You'll know their standard. How do you see the weekend going?
Yeah, look, I think this year definitely, I think it's probably the highest standard that it's ever been in the final 8. We have a few new guys coming through. We have Senan from Dundalk. It's really, really good player. We have XJ Patrick, who represents Longford, who I'll actually be playing in the quarter final. Funnily enough, he's probably one of the only players in Ireland that I haven't played before. So maybe that's a good thing. It's an unknown for both of us. But just from kind of talk from other guys, he's really quality. Look, you've the usual heads. Then you've JP, Welly, Delaney's there again. So look, I think this year Tyrone Ryan as well from Shamrock Rovers. So I think this year is going to be the highest kind of standard of finals that we've had, definitely.
And look, I've had a sort of a small involvement in the organisation on the club side, and look, I've seen the changes that Wild have made and the communication and all that. How do you see ELOI and esports in general linking with League of Ireland? How do you see it going for the next few years?
Yeah, look, I think definitely with Wild, I think they're bringing a real kind of fresh kind of idea to the whole thing. Look, I know Renee quite well. I've spoken to Steve a few times before at other events, and they really want to bring it forward. I suppose from a player perspective, the last couple of years, it was a bit kind of frustrating, I suppose, in terms of kind of the communication wasn't really there with the players. But Wild have really brought that along. Like any email or message, we send, it's answered kind of straight away, which is great. They really kind of want to involve the players as much as they can in the kind of decision making process, because at the end of the day, without the players, it doesn't happen. But I think now with Wild coming in, they have a fresh ideas. It'll be really, really interesting now with the FAI. It's a fresh face. I think this year with bringing in the under 18 structure, I think is going to bode really well, because players know now coming through that they have a platform to get there. So hopefully now in the years to come, we'll have 20 new faces. A lot of the guys now are kind of getting kind of maybe to the latter end and things like that. So it's really, really important that as much as we can, and me as well, kind of promote it now to the next group coming through. But yeah, no, I think it's really exciting for the next couple of years, definitely.
Well done.